They put me on this session because the three of the previous speakers are Russian and my name is Boriss, so they thought, so, as you can see, my full name is Boriss Mejías. I'm a holistic system software engineer. The term holistic actually refers to my conviction that what we're dealing here is the fundamental interconnectedness of all things. I'm also a proud member of the Order of the Bee, and as everything is connected, I like to look at things like best practices to learn from the beauty of what you should be doing, but I also love to look at worst practices. So worst practices is what you can learn to avoid. I think that our society actually is too harsh on people making mistakes. Like, you make a mistake, you're like, wow, you're stupid. No, I mean, you have to celebrate that you made a mistake because you can learn from your mistake. So you see something that is wrong, you know, okay, this is something I have to avoid, and these worst practices I'm going to talk about are worst practices I've seen in production. So let's start with security. A very nice worst practice is to run Alfresco with root users. Why is bad? Because if somebody takes over your Alfresco, it's going to take root access to your machine so you can do everything that you don't want them to do. And it's not just enough with root, I mean, you just have to be able to do sudo. So if he can do sudo, he can just do anything in your machine, and you will end up just making sandwich for this hacker until you recover your machine. So the problem is that if you figure out now, when you already install Alfresco as root, you will see that the alfresco.sh is going to enforce you to do a worst practice. It's got to say, like, you have to do it as root. So you have to change this stuff. There is luckily a trick, so you can install this again as a regular user, and that regular user installation is going to bring you the Alfresco SH with a nice code in the same part saying that no, you have to avoid this root thing. So there's a trick for that. So as we continue with the security stuff, something else that you can see as worst practice in Alfresco is the passwords by default. So if you are using Alfresco Enterprise, you have the EMX connector, and has a control role which can do everything, and has a password called change ASAP. So if you don't know, ASAP actually is an acronym in English that means as soon as possible. So if this is running in production, it's already too late. It wasn't soon enough. Okay? So after the talk, you go and change that password if you are still having this in production. Okay? So next thing that I want to talk about is logs. Logs are very useful because they allow us to see what is going wrong, what is going well in our machine, but have to be a little bit organized. So my wife, she thinks that my desk is a mess, and when she used to visit me when I was a single guy in my room, she said, oh, this room is a mess, but she actually never saw a default installation of Alfresco, and Alfresco is even worse when you go to Alfresco Home, and it's really a mess if you didn't put the logs where you have to put them. So what would you find in an Alfresco Home? Alfresco log from yesterday, from before yesterday, shared log, solar log. I mean, we need logs, but don't put them just in the Alfresco Home. So you have to change that. This is one of the worst practices you can do with logs. Now, if you have enough space in your machine and you want to fill it in with plenty of useless stuff, you just let the HTTP logger in production. I mean, it's fine for development and testing, but just keep it there. I mean, a hint, if you want to activate it, actually if you want to deactivate it because it's already in default, server.xml. And of course, I mean, you want to have HTTP and you would like to put it in the reverse proxy, but since we're talking about worst practices, forget about the reverse proxy. Come on. So, if you still have some space, you can just let your Catalina.out grow and grow and grow and get really fast. So I've seen in production more than 5 gigabytes for one file, which is the Catalina.out. Say, come on, grep can parse that in like in a couple of seconds. Yeah, but if you have the support engineer or that nice girl from IRC who is saying you, hey, I can help you out, send me your Catalina.out. You're going to be ashamed to say, okay, my Catalina.out is like 5 gigabytes, I cannot send it. Okay. So give some love to your Catalina.out and clean it up from time to time. So it's about removing the mess from the logs. Okay. So enough for system administration, let's go for development. You're a developer, you are ready, you just put that YAR file in production. I mean, what are these old guys, old school, saying AMP, use AMP? What does even AMP mean? Doesn't anyone know what this acronym means? But anyway, it's a good thing to just deploy on YARs because it will guarantee you your job because nobody is going to be able to know what is this job doing. Maybe we do know. And also you have some random execution in terms of overwriting files, so it gives you excitement when you're going to run your production stuff full of YARs. So let's say that you say, well, okay, I'm going to listen to this old fellow saying use AMP. But you're just going to follow the tutorial and then keep things like description like, this is a sample Alfresco share AMP in production, and we pay a consultant for doing this. Well, okay, it's a worst practice, and he even do it better, just keep all the sample files together with his own code. So try to avoid that. Now, I don't want to finish all with worst practices here. I want to give you one good practice. I think it's very important for your life, not just in coding. Don't take yourself too seriously. When you make a mistake, kind of celebrate it because you identify that you made a mistake and you can learn, but then you will avoid your worst practices. Now, after I say thank you, I will let you read a nice quote from Dick gently. And so, thank you very much.